when I say color, I'm not talking about black. I'm talking about what you mean. Right. I'm not saying it in a white ass. I hope I do. But what I'm saying is this: if there were somebody in there making legislation that would strengthen affirmative action, strengthen DEI, it would weaken systemic racism. You understand what I'm saying? So if there's somebody removing policies that support it, then they're strengthening systemic racism.
Y'all do realize that most of the people who are on SNAP currently, right, are working people.
They are.
People who are on SNAP are working. They're doing their thing. They don't have enough income to make ends meet. Most of the people on Section 8 are doing the right thing, right? Like, so we need to realize that first and foremost, and not allow ourselves to buy into this rampant freaking this right. So that's it. I put in the chat various actual stats and information regarding the disparity between black folks and white folks over the last, I think I started from the 1900s up to current. So again, let's just keep it in mind. Hopefully I'll take a look at it. I'll come back this week later, but I just wanted to point out most of the people who are losing their health care, most of the people who are losing their SNAP, most of the people that are losing what they're losing are currently working, productive people. Let's be clear.
Right, and the program suggests that they have to be. So that shouldn't be lost.
There's training in there. That you gotta understand, when you build like this, people need realistic training into higher paying jobs. There's no talk about it. You don't hear anybody create with it. It's nothing. Not one fucking thing is out there for them to really level up. It's like you're poor, get the fuck out of here, figure it out. That is what this bill says. And to those who have done very well financially, it's like, oh, good, you're part of the good old boys network. Here you go. Is this benefit? Is that benefit? It's all structured and geared around individuals who have managed to make a whole lot of money, to make even more money, and not even be held responsible for carrying their weight.
Robert, let me ask you, so would that weaken or empower systemic racism? What you just described?
Sorry?
Will it weaken or empower systemic racism?
Weaken.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which means it could be impacted by policy.
And tell them, wait, talk about the fact that when we say benefited, right, y'all need to understand it benefited Caucasian women at the executive levels, not no blue collar job, but the executive levels. And those same women are married to white Caucasian successful men.
What benefited white women?
Wait, hold on. And when we say they benefited white women benefit, y'all need to know the level that they benefited at. It ain't the same job that black folks are doing or low-paid people. They benefited dramatically at the executive level. And they already leveled up because they're married and they have proximity to already wealthy men. So think about that movement.
What you talking about? The DEI shit? And that shit about
The DEI program has benefited executive Caucasian women.
well, it also benefited black women like me.
Yes, it
The
did.
DEI hired. So I love it. Every minute of it. I'm just saying.
Well, Robert, I understand what you're saying, but you also have to understand that you can't make, obviously, via the 14th Amendment, we can't make legislation that only impacts one group of people.
Right.
So every legislation is to benefit the most people in the nation, or the people who represent the majority of that population in some way, and where they are. So you have to give that context. We can't just say that as if, because people say that as a way of saying that it hasn't benefited black people as much as it has other people. Well, of course that's the case. If you understand legislation, you understand how it works, that it's always going to happen that way. So we have to be honest about that.
The point is that we are the face of it, right? We're the ones out there saying it's not right, etc., etc. Last time I checked, I saw none of these executive Caucasian women on any programs. I didn't see any of them talking about the fact that, they didn't benefit from it. If they're silent, they're not even saying it.
Well, the reason you wasn't literally there in the Senate to do that.
Would they? Why would they? There's
But y'all understand this stuff. I'm saying that we need it, right? You're saying that
Of course we need it, Robert.
regardless if they, just about everything, everybody is considered a minority.
minority now. Everybody's jumping on the minority train when they found out that there are certain provisions and guidelines and policies that were carved out. Before that, you couldn't get a nigga to be a minority. Now everybody wants to be a minority. So the white women, they were gonna find a way. They were gonna find a way to get some benefits out of everything that was slated through the Civil Rights Acts. So I mean, why are we just gonna throw the baby away with the bathwater? If we have some examples of black women who leveled up, then hey, let's take those wins. We're not gonna be able to get everything.
I'm just trying to people benefit.
100%. So,
Until you start running shit, that's the only time you're gonna be able to say, well, it's black only.
But even then,
Robert, let me ask you this, Robert. Let me ask you this. So, if you see,
Jim, I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, that's this last thing. And when we tried to do that, what was the group of black women who got sued by Stephen Miller for trying to offer grants or scholarships? I'm not sure, to black small business, to female black SBAs. What happened to them? They sued the shit out of these ladies. They're giving back to their own. So we have to come up with strategies where that kind of shit doesn't happen. Because they want us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, okay, so be it. But once we do it, don't try to sue us. We're helping the same people that you don't want to fuck with.
you're talking about the Fearless Fund. So yeah, go ahead, Bill.
The point is that these same ladies who benefited from this, they are absolutely not going to mention the fact that they were already doing okay. But everybody piggybacks off our fucking culture, man. Everybody piggybacks off us. Everybody fucking jumps in the bandwagon over the work that our great civil rights leaders have done over the years. People just jump on the fucking bandwagon, ain't do no kind of work or nothing. They just jump on it, and I'm sick of it.
I understand the frustration, but I'm not disregarding
You
this.
sound like MAGA, Robert. You sound like a MAGA motherfucker.
No, you don't just know. You don't sound like him. You don't care.
I agree with Robert, but I don't think that would be a read. Like it's like if you're running a race and you gotta something you do, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you won't stop the race. You don't get rid of the program just because some white women are benefiting also when we have many African Americans that need it.
It's going to be what you're talking about has got to be in the course of legislation. Legislation has to impact everyone. You cannot make legislation
It's not even legal to do so.
one. Well, that's what we're referring to. You can't do that. So if it's going to happen via legislation, you can imagine, you can just assume that everybody's going to benefit from it, and disproportionately, people who are already in position to take advantage of it are going to benefit from it the most.
Hey, Quinn, to take it a step further, there were a lot of white people that found out they have a couple percent of Indian in them and went after the Indian programs, the programs that were dedicated to Indians, right? The Indians aren't going to say, cut the program, fucking couple white people got in. Like, they're not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. No.
These same white women are not going to push the program. They'll secretly benefit from it.
We're not asking them to. We don't like them getting through what they did. As long as we're getting what we need, sometimes people are going to run through the same door. I can't stop that, but we don't close the fucking door.
So I mean, what we have to do is, listen. This is an ongoing fight, brother. Like Lisa gave a great example of the Fearless Fund, where we were trying to do something that had nothing to do with legislation. It had to do with being able to fund our businesses via our money. So they were able to find a loophole. It wasn't Stephen Miller. It was actually another. I forget his name. He was
Asian guy?
No, he's not Asian. I'll be looking up his name, but I forget his name.
I challenge you right now to get someone in this crowd.
Well, he's an attorney. He files cases, and he filed a case in affirmative action. He had to participate in that legislation. I forget his name, but I'm just saying in general that is the way that they go about. That's obviously being facetious, but it is a way to be able to slow down our efforts when it comes to doing that. So we have to be able to push back on those things. What we too often do is hit on it, and we don't actually push back. Now that it's being done, because we don't see it on TV, doesn't mean it's not being done.
Was it an opportunity to build this fund? Fearless Fund.
That's it. This will come. Thank you, brother.
They were designed to invest in certain things, right? Some white people got wind of it, got a hold of it, and they said it's discriminatory, it's this, it's that. We were funding ourselves, we know our characteristics, we know where to put our money, we were
So I mean, again, you're going to get. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because there's grounds for it technically in legislation, obviously. But the good thing about that is that you have to find pushbacks or find workarounds and ways to be able to do those things the same way that they've done to us to a large degree. But I mean, again, I keep stressing that this is a fight. It's going to be a fight. They're not going to concede power. So we can't get discouraged about what happens, even though it's very easy to. You know, I hear that you and I listen. We get tired of having to fight that fight. I get it. I understand. But we have to start lightly to Gemini's point. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep pushing back against those things so that eventually we can stress test that system and continue to find out where it's weak, which is generally everywhere. But I mean, it works for a certain group of people. That's why they're not pushing back on it. They don't think that it's really, they don't think it's real. They don't think it really advantageous to try to, they don't find it advantageous to destroy it because they benefit from it. So you can say, listen, it's in place. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just living the way I live, but that's a convenient position to take when it benefits you. Now, if it wasn't, you'd be on our side of the equation trying to make it work for you.
Was Fearless One, hold on, aren't they
right here in Atlanta?
Wait, Fearless One, aren't they private?
Yeah.
And Keisha Knight and some other.
Yeah, they're
businessmen.
Yeah, they're not, I don't know if people know if they had government contracts. I don't remember that, but I remember them being independent of that. So, but I don't remember them being like associated with government contracts.
They're not.
Yeah, and that's the sadness that so all of us get together and write about what our mission statement is. Our mission statement can be denied because Caucasian people feel that we're discriminating against Caucasian and we're not hiring them. So which is we can't hire our own. We're supposed to hire you. Like, this is crazy. Y'all should check that case out. So those that don't know, I suggest you guys dive into the case behind Fearless One and how they were undermined by,
It's not gone. It's just been suspended. Now I know that's just a formality with us. Either it's going or it ain't. But it's ongoing legislation. It's not done yet. At least last time I checked it was.
And what pissed me off was when I will tell you, I remember the lady speaking to Mrs. Harris, right, when she was running with the sister. That sister's dope, the leader of the she's a dope sister. And I think when she brought it to Miss Harris's y'all remember that they was talking and Miss Harris kind of downplayed it, like I don't know, even though she was familiar with the case, but there's a popular clip out there where you see the two talking in the hallway. And then I don't think Miss Harris was really up on the case, but she didn't respond in a passionate way to what the woman, I can't remember her name, was saying about the case that was just going before the courts, etc., etc., etc. I think Miss Harris recommended one of her aides gets the woman's number, this kind of thing, but she was not privy of what the details of the case was. So you can find that clip out there.
She was also on camera too, so you don't do that. That's one thing you do not do with politicians, you know that.
The point is, she just completely looked like she was off guard and wasn't knowledgeable about it.
I'm saying she's gonna look like that because she's on camera. So I mean, there's a lot of games. Listen, people say what they want to about Kamala Harris. She's a seasoned politician and she's a brilliant.
I'm not
glazing these politicians, man. That's crazy.
Glazing. Glazing.
She's
Hey, scamming? No, I'm live streaming.
Why are we letting somebody in Omar's thinking capacity derail?
I just want to say I'm so ashamed that I ever aligned with Omar in the form of
Hey, man, it is what it is, Gemini.
Robert, go ahead, Robert.
The only person on here who really can articulate what I'm expressing is Gemini. And he's the only person that understands how I think. It helps me clarify and all that. the rest of you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I promise you, I don't need your help. I don't need one person out.
I definitely can't articulate it.
I would never say Donald Trump articulates anything. That was crazy.
Can I give the man his props? Can I give somebody their props?
Absolutely. Especially on Man Sunday.
Amazing, man.
So as I said, Kamala Harris is a brilliant politician. She's a brilliant woman. Period.
Yeah, but I don't say she's articulate, though. I don't say she's articulate.
I'm expressing myself. Sometimes I get
She's quite articulate.
Word, Silas, come on.
Do you know
Mama,
her?
shut the fuck up!
Alright, y'all got it. Y'all bro.
I just don't like talking to you. You're stupid. I mean, I don't have any common ground with you at any point. I think you're stupid.
You know what I want you to do? I want you to go to fucking Diddy's house, put the fucking oil in your fuck ass heat. Oh my God.
Oh, no. Who said that? Who said that? No.
DJ said that down here. Yeah, I've been waiting for a while to get out from work. Two brain cell ass sitting up here talking this entire time. Shut the fuck up and let people talk.
Who's that?
Shit.
I don't even know that. Who's this new character? Who's that?
Hey, stop talking, CJ.
No character unlocked.
Character in the lockdown.
DJ ain't no fucking character.
I never heard of one.
Shut up! I'm sitting here in your fucking balls.
Yo,
I'm just listening and listening to you.
Just ask CJ what he's talking about. CJ, who you're not hearing? Who do you need to hear? Oh, I'm not. I hear Omar clear as day with his annoying two brain cell ass. I'm sitting up there screaming off the damn fucking mic. I think that's like your brain. This is a
Hey, can somebody get Brooklyn oxygen mask, man?
This is a real good conversation.
Mike, y'all talking over Lisa. Let her say what she's saying, man.
Over CJ, I was listening to him. He said he's hearing only one voice. And what else CJ? What he? No. I'm saying this is a really good conversation. Like this is some really good stuff I'm just listening to. But every fucking time there's like a good conversation going. Omar, with your two brains.
I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what this is. But I
Opinion about something. How about
here, let's see what you got to say. Let's hear your comments.
that's all you're gonna have for Donald Trump?
Let's hear your comments. Let's hear your comments.
Shut the fuck up!
Let's hear your articulation.
The only thing you're gonna be articulated on is on Trump's dick. That's the only thing you're gonna do. Wow. That's the only thing you're gonna do. Everybody talking fucking solutions for our damn community, and all you have is Trump versus Trump's dick.
Child.
Yeah, y'all doing a lot of glazing today, man. That's
You are the
Guys.
You are the dirty.
I don't even know who this new character is.
CJ.
I don't even know who this new character is.
CJ, we really, and I hate to be like this, we have to really learn to ignore people. I mean, I mean sincerely, really just talk through him because he's trolling the conversation because he can't contribute to it any other way. So what we can just continue to do, just talk around him. And if he gets too disruptive, just remove him on the stage. He can sit in the audience like all the other degenerates and listen to the
Hey,
conversation.
Quinn, you're set, man. I just want to let you know that.
Let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. Not everybody in the chat is a degenerate. There's some very bright people there. He's just not one.
Yeah, set. Hey, Quinn is very
We can just let that happen. Let the conversation talk. Yeah, this is artistic. Just ignore it. And we'll just keep talking. We'll actually say some good stuff.
Just swipe on his picture so y'all can check out his stuff.
Yeah, what makes ICE the largest law enforcement agency ever. Put in the chat.
How does that, Omar, how does that benefit you or the economy?
Oh, hey, first of all, it ain't necessarily about me. It's money, it's contracts. It's contracts. Facilities gotta get paid. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm a contractor at the end of the day, bro. I'm a contractor.
So facilities got to
You were an electrician now.
I'm a contractor. Yes, I'm a contractor.
You're not.
So facilities gotta get built for you to go in. Cause you need
Listen, every building is engineering, right?
Stupid. They're gonna hire a president to do it because those are the real Americans, according to Trump. So you probably get put in it, but you ain't gonna build it. So I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I have a skill set. Brooklyn, stop doing that.
All of them Mexicans got a skill set too. They're actually better than you. What are you talking about?
Why would they hire you?
No, they'll definitely not.
You can barely
You got a skill set too. Because all of the Mexicans got a skill set too.
In Philly, not in Pennsylvania. It's gonna be union jobs. What are you talking about?
But them doesn't, he got a skill set, clearly.
Trump doesn't like the aliens. You a slow ass bitch. Like, I never met a slow bitch.
I'm not, listen, 170 billion.
Like, you are the slowest motherfucker I've ever met, for real. I understand why you voted for Trump, because you're truly dumb. You really, really
Hey, man, I got my tangibles. I got what I wanted.
What did you want that he gave? What did you want?
He just saying that to make himself feel better.
I'm really confused. That's not correct. I can tell you I'm slow, so explain to me what you actually consider your in-house, or was it earlier in some round
Just, what was my number one issue, Just?
all you can round up is donuts.
Just, what was my number one issue this election?
Fuck ass Douglas and yours. That's the actual issue.
It should have been healthcare, because you need a brain scan.
It was immigration. I told you that. Come on now.
How dare you? You look like an immigrant.
No.
You look fresh off the boat, G.
And I'm being born in New York City too. So what's your point?
Y'all see that photo? Tell me that girl don't look 16 behind him.
Now y'all just corny right now. Y'all just real corny. Come on, man. I thought you was better than that.
Check out that photo.
Man, I thought you don't want me going on you, man. Stop. Don't get going on me. Don't say nothing on me, man.
Let me save you right now. Don't do that. Let me ask you this, though. Hey, Omar, who reported more? Let me ask you this, Omar, since you're concerned with immigrants, I'm sure that's been...
Yeah, y'all gotta stay on top of it, man.
Because he need to.
Yeah, that was corny, man. You gotta call it better context. That was corny.
Why? Right? You've been concerned with immigration, so I'm assuming it's not something relatively new. It's something that you've probably been on consistently in the past. So who reported more, Trump or Obama?
Obama, for sure. Obama, man.
He deported triple the amount that Trump has. You realize that,
Fact,
right?
that's a fact.
So then why are you so pro-Trump right now?
I love it. Why?
He did it without the controversy.
Yeah, but Obama's not on the ballot either, though. Gemini, what are we talking about here? Obama's not even on the ballot. What are we talking about?
Yeah, what's up, Brooklyn? What's up?
We please talk around Omar because he's annoying as fuck and he is derailing the conversation.
He has derailed the conversation.
Let's see what Brooklyn got to say. Let's hear her to say.
I'm listening. What you should do is listen and ask questions instead of talking, right? That's what people that aren't informed do. They people in rooms?
No, he don't. So I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. Like he said, his room with hundreds of people.
You know what? You know,
There ain't hundreds around. Brooklyn knows. Brooklyn knows too. Yeah, Brooklyn knows. I don't do rooms no more because I let y'all have it. I let y'all get tired of it. I let y'all have it. I let the new crowd do it. You gotta let them go sometimes.
can we move on?
Yes, can you shut up? God damn.
I didn't try Brooklyn.
What kind of nasty ass sandwich is that in your PTR? What the fuck?
Not those things, people we don't know, things that's weird.
All his fucking food be looking nasty. You don't gotta do it. Having is ridiculous. But anyway, Kendra, I continue because it was a good conversation and I was just listening because that's what people do.
I was actually enjoying my discourse with Quinn when I left.
Me too, I was enjoying it.
Okay, so I'm confused. What were you guys even talking about?
I get left off at kind of in the middle of listening. I remember we were talking about Robert and I, we were discussing the Fearless Fund. We were talking about how the young lady, I forgot Ariana's last name, and Ariana Foster were actually speaking to Kamala Harris in the during her campaign time on TV when she was talking about when she was explaining the Fearless Fund to them. And my point to Robert was that the reason why Kamala was responding that way more than likely was because she knows that she's on camera. She's a savvy politician. She's a smart lady, and that's the reason why she responded that way. So the reason why, even if she knew about it, she probably would have had the same reaction. But her discussion off camera would be completely different with them, and I'm sure it has at this point. I'm sure she's probably lending any help she can to making sure that they can fight that legislation, because it's not completely gone. It's just suspended for the moment, but it's not gone.
What do you say to the article that's in Fortune magazine about them lining up with this other group? I posted the article in the chat. White female group in relationship to do the same thing.
I didn't see that. I'll read that. I can see that.
And then let the fucking weirdo just derail everything. The conversation was fun.
Yeah, but the way you do that is just keep talking. I mean, and if need be, you just move them if you need to. So but yeah, I think that's really honestly the reason why she responded the way that she did. But I think that she's. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Even with that, I think the grounds for that legislation, for them terminating that legislation, was, let me see it, I had it up, because I was reading it too. It says a lawsuit is ongoing. The grant program has been suspended, and the Fearless Fund has faced intense scrutiny and criticism. The case has raised concerns about the future of DEI initiatives and the legal challenges they face. As part of a large trend of legal challenges to all the DEI programs. Obviously, this is post. This is pre-Trump's the most current administration. So, but I didn't read what was the name of the
Hello Alice Small Business.
Oh, Hello Alice. I am familiar with that. That came into prominence during, well, at least let me say prominence, but that came into my sphere during pandemic. Yeah, I have heard that. Yes, sir.
The thing is that in order to be legitimate, that's the way I'm interpreting. Again, I try not to get into the reasons.
So not legitimate, but I know what you mean. They're not legitimate, but being able to find a way around the legislation, meaning that it can be for, it doesn't look like it's targeting just black women, but it's, and because, and Johnny said this too, that they were taking, the grounds for which Bloom filed the suit was that they were taking grants, and clearly they were taking government grants. So if it was being funded, now this is also to your point, Richard, if it was, not Richard, but Robert, if it was being funded via private sector, would they still have the same problem?
I think it's all in the product, in this climate, it's about the product, the public propaganda, not necessarily the action. It's a lot of, black directed foundations and funds, only with the images you see, when they do promote, how the imagery of that, how this individuals or this group of individuals are promoting themselves. But because it came out to be for black women, I believe, as something that was being directed to black women for, in the public, as a part of the public discourse in this political moment, that's where the Boom and team, once again used it for their propaganda use. My concern is with Bloom, when you look behind Bloom, and I think people have brought it up in this room, also in this house, these foundations ain't no joke that are supporting this person who's a lawyer. So you're not really going up against just some, righteous individual who is dealing with DEI. You're going up against, a well-financed machine. That is,
But you still can't, even if I sue you, it has to be on the grounds of something. And it has to be on the grounds that the fund was taking grants specifically for issuing grant money to black businesses. So essentially what it's saying is you're taking everybody's money and just funneling it to black people. So there had to be something within that, and I haven't read it, and I haven't read it completely, but I'm saying there has to be something in the fearless fund projection that says that it's doing this specifically for African American businesses.
The point of it, there's always going to be a loophole. That's not my issue. Your point is correct as far as I'm concerned, in the sense that there had to be grounds in order to, marshal this case. The thing that I'm looking at is that there's a
are not funded primarily by private business, by private entities. Like a lot of them take government money and under the guise that they're going to be doing work for people in general. But obviously, when you're taking government money in general, which you know, which is supposed to obviously be all of our money, then you can't just funnel that through based on the case that he filed. You can't just funnel that to African American businesses, and that has to be privately funded in some way. And I probably think that's the way that they were able to find the loophole. I mean, otherwise it would be an uphill battle because you can't tell people obviously to do with their private money. So where they were able to make, and I was reading the Fearless Fund. I think they've changed it since its original. But it looks like, I mean, obviously it looks like mostly women of color within the team. But I mean, at some point it was dealing directly with just black women, and that was the grounds on which they filed the case.
What is this Hello Alice thing that y'all talking about in the chat? I don't understand.
So Hello Alice is the company apparently that they're trying to partner with now, so that it, I guess, in a nutshell, so it don't look like it's just a program for black women. So
Didn't the original lawsuit include Hello Alice? So there was a white woman.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was 3 of them. It was Keisha Knight.
Yeah, I know Keisha's on it. And it's Ari. I forget. I keep forgetting this girl's name. It's Ayana. I know it's Ayana something. I can't think of her last name.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. I didn't know Hello Alice was on it before.
Yeah, she was on it because she was getting threats. Her and Ariana, whatever. Ayana, yep. They were getting those death threats and stuff behind this lawsuit. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I'm trying to figure out what was I guess we have to read that. What was the grounds for the lawsuit? Oh, it says the AAER, I guess that's Edward Bloom's company, claimed that a grant that the Fearless Fund created for black women entrepreneurs discriminated against non-black founders. So I mean, they had to participate in that though, if that was the case, right?
What do you mean?
Meaning it said that the case was they claimed that a grant that the Fearless Fund created for black.
So they did that was for black women.
I mean, but against non-black founders. So people that were part of the grant.
No, it was because only black women could apply for it. That was the basis of discrimination.
And it's my thing, right? Why is it that when a black person do they sue Jewish, fundraising, charities for supporting only Jewish only Jewish only people? Like, why do they only do that to black people when we have something they sue us? But Asians have their own funds, and Jews have their own funds, and yada yada, so on and so forth. But why, when only black people have it, it's discriminatory if nobody else is involved? That's crazy. How is that even fucking legal? Like, how is it even possible to be sued for supplying your own people with your own donation? That's crazy. It's not suing for just regular shit. Give me an idea and give me somebody to sue. At this point, that's like lawsuits should just come out the ass for no reason at all, and I want to sue somebody. That's what the fuck.
Well, you can do that actually. So it says according to the
idea, I sue right now.
So it did file the lawsuit against the 3 unnamed members who allegedly been eligible to apply for the Fearless Strivers grant, but were excluded solely when they weren't black women, when they aren't black women. The grant's stated criteria. So the AER claimed that the exclusion violated a statute which prohibits race-based discrimination in contracting.
Very Judas move. That was a very Judas move.
Yeah, I mean,
Are they plants?
that's an interesting take. I never even would have thought about that. That's an interesting thought.
Because I've seen situations where people, and this happens more in like housing associations. Sometimes people will come in to say we want to support, but they're actual plants, and then once they get into a certain position, then they do what they can to dismantle the whole piece. And I wouldn't think this administration is not far enough or ignorant enough not to use that type of thing. Because why would again, like you say, why would a founder who came in there and built this the way it is, all of a sudden say, okay, now that we're established and now money's going in, we want to sue them for discriminating against. When you literally voted for the bylaws to state that specific what you were supporting. That makes no sense.
Well, there were 3 non-black women, and they claimed that they were harmed by the race-based eligibility restriction. But the grant, and even Johnny said this in the chat, the grant itself was sought on behalf of black women. That was the purpose of the grant itself. So it accused the fund of racial discrimination since the eligibility was restricted to black women. A non-black founder would have been unable to compete for the same terms. And it says here that it agreed to a settlement and permanently shut down the targeted grant program. I'm just trying to think how they thought they would actually, they should have had some attorneys on board to understand what they were getting grants for. Like, 'cause how would you think you would do that without?
Unless that was a plan. I'm telling you, people will sometimes infiltrate, and that could have been a plan from the jump. But
Yeah, but here's the thing: you leave yourself open to that in general, don't you? Whether they came on and even let's say they agreed, they were trying to do this as they were their allies. You still leave yourself open for that, though.
Hey Quinn, this is Pierre. I think given Trump's bold statements about affirmative action, I think that I like what Dan just brought up, because I think given given all that, every time that they put some sort of PR out, it's always it's the unfair and corrupt DEI, and we need to root it out. I think that is encouraged what Dan was suggesting, that idea that people are to take on to actually actively go after groups, you need to be doing something, and it's not above board to somebody to try that type of stuff too. I'm sure people have to be thinking about this now, given what's happened.
Yeah, but then but you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if I don't hire them, that's also a point of discrimination, right? If I don't include other people in the program, then I'm also subject to that same thing. If my program looks like it's all black women, or even if I'm trying to be, I'm trying to dance around that. I have some women who aren't African American, maybe, AAPI or, something, women of color in general.
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, but that means that you're not an ally, and at that point, how come you just didn't remove yourself? Like, you're going above and beyond when you're trying to sue, right? Like, that's more deliberate, that's more, I would even say strategic, for a very specific value. How was the other party harmed in a substantive way that makes it seem like I got to get this money back, or we need to dismantle this? It doesn't make any sense unless that was a plan.
Yeah, I would add also too. I think I hear what you're saying, Quinn, about the damn you do, damn you don't. But I think if you're for any organization, you worry about the processes you have that affirms what you're trying to do. So like if I was running an organization, I would worry more about the hiring process, make sure that is as robust as it can be. And as far as like infiltrators, that's always kind of, I mean, it can happen, but you don't worry about that in the same way. It's kind of almost like, you're opening a business, but not ever expecting, you do expect that some customers will be unsatisfied, that someone might sue you, but you don't base your operations around that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you make it kind of the target. You mean that just kind of ends up happening. But I mean, you still run into it. But I mean, you can get more done if that's not the mission statement and it just happens to be the target, the unspoken target, versus stating that this is what it is and then going about it that way.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Basically, if it's unstated, you just do it without saying that that's what you're doing.
Hey y'all, can y'all hear me?
Hey, yep. What's up, Janine?
Hey, so this is how you do it. Like they do this like in the cannabis industry, like their social equity program. You're real specific in how you define who are the eligible applicants for these grants. Like in some of these social equity programs where they're giving special consideration for people to apply for licenses, they either do it by historical elements, like you have to be from a certain area, which during a certain specific time period, which by looking at those 2 points, that would primarily speak to a certain
demographic
group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For example, in New Jersey, they have a grant that is for film and media that the state has offered up to give marginalized people an opportunity to get into film and media, because Netflix is spending millions and millions of dollars in their new facility that they're opening, and to give these people that ordinarily would not have that pathway for entry jobs, they've offered a grant, and they're giving special consideration. You don't have to have in your grant proposal that you're targeting this specific group of people, but they have specifically said in the instructions that you will get greater consideration if your grant if your program is offered to, and I'm using air quotes, they're calling it overburdened populations, and by overburdened, they have a link to a map that shows specific areas in the state that they're considered overburdened, and by overburdened, they look at 3 elements, and those 3 elements are the population being below the poverty line by a certain percentage. They look at the education level in that area, and they look at if the household speaks, if English is not the primary language in that household. So you have to be real specific. I'm just using that as an example of how you have to word it, so that you're not saying, oh, I just want this for black people, or I just want this for brown people, or I just want this for seniors. But that's how you do it.
That's why do you think they didn't approach it that way?
Why didn't it? Because they don't want the money taken.
That makes sense. And it would have disappeared almost immediately.
Immediately. It's like that grant that they're doing that for. For this first round, they're giving applicants anywhere from $250,000 to $3 million.
Oh wow.
So let me ask a question. So you're saying the founders are the ones that are suing, and partially because they would not be eligible to participate in the program? Is that what I'm hearing?
There's 3 founders that were unnamed, and they were non-black women. So there's two main women. There's 2 main founders. because they claimed that they were being discriminated. They couldn't use the program because they weren't women of color.
So part of me is I'm trying to understand because I know in certain organizations, and definitely Trump is you know, a really bad example of this. But if you are a founding member of an organization, does that not look ethically correct, or is that like a conflict of interest to try to create something to like kind of ingratiate yourself? Am I looking at that wrong?
That I don't know. You mean for you to take advantage of as a founding member?
Right, because your role in that thing is to be the provider, not necessarily to say, hey, I'm doing this, right, so I can be the recipient of it at a base level, and then at a more egregious level is to say, well, I want to be top of the list. You know what I'm saying?
The larger problem is that even actually this time last year, the 11th Circuit Court decided that the grant itself didn't have legal standing.
Oh my God.
It's like the grant program likely violated a statute, and that's what they issued an injunction to stop. So it says here, the 11th Circuit ruled that AAER, which is Bloom, the person that was doing the suing, did have legal standing, and that the grant program likely violated Section 1981 of the Penal Code, issuing an injunction to stop it. So yeah, I mean, but in terms of who can use it, that's an interesting question. I wouldn't think that people that were, I mean, maybe they couldn't. And people that were founders could actually could actually be an applicant as well. I mean,
I don't think it was because it's a VC firm in general, so their role is to give out money for businesses. But
it's like
I think
role.
where it kind of got
they give out money
is how they raise the money to be given out through these programs. That there might have been some type of language in where they received some of the money and where it went. That kind of got them caught up because a lot of times I was trying that don't have your real name or real picture of yourself. Put it up. We see you anonymous. And Gary, I did
it's a cult.
From the last room only because I said you need to change your picture.
This is called the Tanner 2028 presidential run. This is some funny shit here. Dr. Tanner apparently has been kicked. It looks like all the mods have been kicked. I have trolled them hard before. I see you anonymous. She's aware. They don't ever really talk. I've never heard them really talk about anything. Maybe it's like a fake presidential run meditation room or something.
For Carolyn, for an adult person that is totally disabled and dependent on the family, they are excused from that. But we were speaking on income-wise, like they would more than likely be getting income still because the family would probably have them on disability and getting some type of financial help for them.
Let's just be honest,
Yeah.
This is so meta.
Truth be told, even if your person that you got a disability, you're paying rent with that disability. You're getting groceries with the disability. Y'all not spending every dime on therapy and pills. I've been black for 39 years. I know. So yeah. And like I said, when it's all said and done, whatever simple sacrifices that you think you're making, evidently I guess will pay off in the end. For the ones that knows what's going on, for the ones that don't, stick around enough and you'll figure out why everybody is sitting here every single day, day in and day out, waiting for November, what, 3rd or 4th or 5th to come around 2026. It's like a countdown over here.
And I'm gonna become president.
But yeah, most definitely everybody that's 18 in your house though, we're looking at, if we have 1,000 people here, that's only really 500. It's not 500 people. We got 1,000. The latest news. Heading to DC, the Young Six God's killed on terms, while also possibly exported.